Okay, here we are. Another dose of positivity. Okay, I'm just like, whoa, feeling the great spirits coming in with me to give me the strength and the honor and the privilege to be here today to cover this skimming of the iceberg of what becoming energetically sovereign means and how to build relationship skills for empaths. This is going to be a really great show. And I want to welcome all of you, architects of positive change, compassionate beings, and lovers of life, for taking the time out of your day, your evening, to be with us here for yet another dose of positivity. I think we're on our 100th episode or close to it. So I'm really thrilled to be here, and I'm also thrilled to announce, many of you know who are on the live or listening, streaming in on LinkedIn or Facebook, I have been not well, and I just got back from India where I had an astrological reading, which was super intuitive, and so now, like, bringing this discussion to play and all of the incredible meditations I've been doing to get myself out of intense chronic fatigue and into my light and love energy. And so I am bringing you, honored to bring Evalena here today. But before we embark on this enlightening journey, I just wanted to just mention a few things really quick, and then I'm going to read a very brief paragraph out of my book, Living Like the Future Matters, The Evolution of a Soul-to-Soul Entrepreneur. And for those of you who are new to A Dose of Positivity, we invite you to put your email in the chat and we will send you a complimentary ebook. It's like 400 pages, but it's a very good read, and it will complement this discussion we're having today. I also wanted to remind you all that this is a live broadcast. Anybody listening to the replay, thank you for being here, and your comments, anything that you put in the chat on the replays, we will get to eventually. So if you have any questions, and also Evalena's information, my information, if you want to get in hold of us directly, will be there. No need to write any notes. So, and if you decide you're bold and brave or just honored to come up on stage, we'll raise your hand. We'll bring you on stage towards the end of the show to speak directly with Evalena and answer. You guys can have a little discussion. So, and then if you haven't already joined our Facebook group, we'll pop that link in there. And yeah, we're just so honored to have some new people here and all of our old timers joining us here today. So, Evalena, just give me 1 second. And Evalena, I will get to your incredible introduction, and we'll get the conversation started as people are still entering the room. So this is from Cycle 12. I call my chapter Cycles, like the cycles of life. And it's in the cycle regeneration. And it starts out with one of my quotes. Life is constantly pointing us towards our higher calling. We just have to open our eyes and begin to walk the path. Unquote. Every species from bacteria to humans is capable of regeneration, rebirth, renewal, and expanding their minds. When conditions are right, the process happens faster. Regeneration is the act of improving a place or system so that it can be more productive. The context of the word regeneration also means rebirth, renewal, and to grow again. A starfish can regenerate its whole body from just one leg. Deer can regrow antlers. Lizards regrow their tails, and sharks replace loose teeth. As many as 24,000 teeth in a lifetime. Decaying trees will regenerate into nurturing nutrients, and the cells in our bodies are always regenerating. Our skin renews itself every 27 days. Humans can regenerate some organs such as the liver, although some human tissues cannot regenerate. But we can revise our careers, our lifestyles, our relationships, and our spiritual growth. We can also be restored spiritually as well as the way we think, feel, and act. So I am so grateful to have Evalena Rose, who has been at this for over 45 years, helping and guiding people to restore, renew, regenerate, and to realize there is a higher spirit, universe, force, nature at play, and how to get in touch with that. So on this topic of becoming energetically sovereign and relationship skills for empaths, and Tina, hopefully she will join the show. We will put Tina's replay in the chat. She talks all about being an empath. This is a little treat just to nourish your soul before we jump into this conversation. But what I wanted to tell you about Evalena Rose is that you can just look into her eyes, and really that is the intro that you'll need, because you will feel it. She helps people open their hearts. She helps people embody their soul essence through MetaTherapy, which she's going to talk about, channeled readings, and energetic healing. She does this both in private practice for 45 years, and she also serves awakening seekers, especially healers, therapists, and entrepreneurs. She is deeply versed in trauma recovery, which most people are going through, after decades working on her own, and often helps light workers clear the past to live vibrantly in their intuitive and authentic natures. And for the past 38 years, Evalena has channeled the Ascended Masters, known as the Council of 12, which she will talk about, which I'm excited to learn more about. Working collaboratively with individuals, couples, and groups to live fully in their power and their passion. Evalena Rose, I want to welcome you to the show and open those big, beautiful blue eyes of yours. And everybody look deep into this woman's eyes and let her penetrate your soul. So welcome to A Dose of Positivity, honey.
Oh, thank you. I'm delighted to be here, Donna. I love what you're doing, and I love how you're bringing positivity to the world.
No, thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to spread that virus to people, or that love light to people, and keep that going like a pebble in a still pond. So let's get into some of these things. First of all, we have some questions I want to go over with you, but this idea of metatherapy and, a lot of these terms, metatherapy, channeled readings, I understand energetic healing, but kind of like give us a little outline of what those mean and how this became a calling, this metatherapy and these channeled readings that you do. Give us some more clarity around that, please.
Sure. I actually created the word metatherapy because there wasn't a word to describe what I felt I was doing, which to me, it's a metaphysical approach to therapy, very spiritually based, and goes beyond therapy. And rather than doing therapy to or with someone, it's a collaborative process that really helps people activate their own inner voices, discover what's going on inside. So it's very collaborative and interactive and deeply healing for people. And part of why I came to that was that I had been getting jobs in my 20s and early 30s with agencies, but they kept putting me in an administrative role. Or if I had clients, it was all about paperwork. And I got fired twice, once in front of TV cameras and about 60 people. So I decided I'm going to do what I love. And I didn't have the right master's. I had a master's in experimental psychology. So I've just operated alongside the system of people who are licensed and have gone through all the hoops. But I work with the guides almost from the beginning. So I feel like I have supervision all the time, or I have support all the time, and have been just evolving our own ways of doing the work, but still with the standards, kind of the orientation of a therapist in terms of confidentiality and being conscious of people's sovereignty.
Well, I know you counsel people all from all around the world, which is
Mm.
amazing. And you mentioned you talk about these guides that came through you to so you were able to help people, and I think that I'd really like to dive like deep into that because it's something that I don't want to say it's like sometimes I feel tormented or haunted, like I've got these guides. Sometimes things just come out, or when I'm just takes over my being, right? And I'm sure some of you other people who are on the call, I can't imagine if you're an empath or an intuitive that you don't feel this too. But Evalena, you have been able to take this, I don't know, this Council of 12 that you speak of, and you've been able to not only turn your a life into a career around this, but you have helped thousands of people. So share just share how that came to you, and about this Council of 12 or these guides, because we're all special, but you've done something really special with your specialness.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we're all special, and we're all special in the eyes of the divine. So when I started my practice, I felt I didn't know enough. That was 45 years ago. And I just felt, how could I be alone in the room and really help people with their lives without, some kind of support? So I took all kinds of workshops, and in one of them, I met my spirit guides. So I started working with them, and I went, I don't have to be alone in the room. I can always have support and guidance. And so I nurtured that relationship for a while. And then I had a friend who taught me to meditate, who asked if I ever wanted to learn to channel. And I said no. And he said, okay, well, I've been given this invocation that opens a pathway to the Akashic records, which are energetic records of all of the lifetimes. And I thought I was supposed to give it to someone, maybe you. I'm not attached. Wait until you're really, really clear. But something inside me just leaped for joy. So I did a bunch of clearing and rebirthings and took care of myself and came back. And again, when we talked about it, I felt that leap for joy. So he sat with me, and he can hold a really deep meditative place. And at first it was a guide I knew, and I went, nothing different. And then I heard, we're going to be quiet now while we clear the channel, from my mouth. And it was like, she doesn't need that belief anymore. She doesn't need that belief anymore. And I'm going, highest good, God, direct this. And they just weeded the garden of my mind. And the next thing that came out was, we are the Council of 12, or one of the ancient councils of the White Brotherhood of Light. We've been waiting a long time to speak through you, and we're happy to have this audience. And my friend just totally perked up. He could feel the difference. And he thought, he was very scientifically minded and brilliant. And he would ask questions, and they would answer it in the way his mind thought, in ways I couldn't have answered it. So that was a good way to know right from the beginning that something else was happening.
How old were you when this came to you, and what were you doing at that time in your life?
It was 1984, and I was almost 40, I guess. And I had my private practice. I had been doing therapy, but when I started it, it was harder to build a therapy practice. So I did a lot of massage with people as well. And I did a lot of therapy on the massage table. And then, so people knew me, and I was also president in Austin, Texas, of what was called the Austin Area Holistic Health Association, AHA. And we met every week, and every month we'd have a program. And by becoming president, I was in front of a lot of people. So when I started channeling, people were really interested. And I practiced with this man and some other friends, and then told the world, and people started coming. It became a much bigger part of my practice.
So with the channeling, when you would go into this, okay, there's a big difference from being an empath and being intuitive and sensitive to somebody's emotions, or but to channeling, explain to us like that different feeling, and okay, I don't want to say you're getting older, but I mean you are going to be 80, and you had this gentleman who helped you like years ago. I mean, is he even with us anymore?
Mm-mm.
So how do we inspire our audience, anybody who's listening, to be open to either the Council of 12 or the grandmother drum, White Eagle, another woman who will be on our show eventually. She gets channeled from the grandmothers.
Right.
And so, like, I mean, do you get energetically drained, or do you get energetically fired up or exhausted? Like, what happens in that channeling process? Like, it's easier for me to say, oh, you're so talented as a cook, you should open a restaurant, than to say, oh, you're an empath, you're so intuitive, you should be a channeler, right? So how does one who's listening to this, or somebody who's in their 30s or 40s or even 20s, where did they go to tap into this inner light?
So anyone can open to channeling, and to me, it's like going into a deeply meditative place. And my small self, I just invite to come into my heart and rest. And I expand into my multidimensional self. And so I feel not only do we exist in the chakras in the body, but there's 7 more beyond. And that's our wisdom nature and our multidimensional nature. So I open to that. And it feels like that which is my wisdom nature channels through the Council of 12. So it's not like, when channeling first came back in with Edgar Cayce, people would go unconscious and channel. But in the ancient times, we had the orators, we had, not orators, the oracles, we had the seers, many countries had a channel or someone like that advising their rulers. So it's, in terms of how does someone start, the easiest way is create an altar to the relationship you want to build with your guides, and light some candles, set intentions. We always want to use an invocation to ensure we're only bringing in the beings that are of the highest light. And then sit maybe with something to write or record on, and ask the highest, clearest, most radiant beings of light to come and work with you and teach you how to do it, because they know how.
Mhm.
And you might find you're writing or you're dictating. People, the conscious mind will go, how do you know this is your guides and not you? And the best answer is, I don't. Please be still. And then the ego goes, well, you're just making these up. Perhaps, but I'm enjoying it. Please be quiet. Here's a pillow over here, ego. Why don't you come sit on this pillow?
Mhm.
Conscious mind, you can sit here, take notes. We'll talk about it later.
Mhm.
The longer answer to that is a 20-minute video on my website called Collaborating with Spirit that will guide you through that kind of process,
Yeah.
and also has the invocations on it.
Yeah, we'll make sure to look in your website and drop that link in the Facebook group and all the channels. So everybody, you don't have to go looking for that now. We'll make sure we get you that link, because
Great.
that would be a really good thing to watch.
Mhm.
So now, I guess to answer the question, because I know I threw a lot of things at you. Sorry about that. Because I've seen, like, people doing channeling, and they'll do it, and then they come out of it and they are like completely exhausted and
Mm.
don't even know what happened to them.
Not me.
No.
I wouldn't miss a minute of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
So I'm very present, and my task is to really hold a clear space.
Mhm.
And when I do that, I'm energized by it about 90% of the time. The only time that's not true is if the other person's really resisting, and fighting against what's being said. And there's a lot of chaotic energy, and I've got to really keep my light around me to not take that energy on.
Mhm.
But 95% of the time, I feel better after I do a channeling. And sometimes I just feel extraordinarily jubilant with what has happened.
Yeah. And
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 the
God,
interesting thing is being a therapist and a channel is they each inform the other. So my channeling is very therapeutic. I'm not into predicting and telling people, when is he coming kind of thing. But it's very therapeutic on how to prepare for someone to come or how to clear what's in the way. And a lot of energetic healing, we might have the person get up and do some release. It's pretty active.
yeah, maybe a little bit you'll give us run us through a little exercise. That would be really great. I just have a couple more quick clarity questions, and then if you would feel honored to do something like that,
Mhm.
take us through a little exercise, that would be great. Um, I'm just the 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 12 these 12 well, first of all, I'm going to backtrack. Sorry, folks. When I bring people on the show, and well, I should let people know how we met. And we met at this great little bakery in Weaverville, North Carolina, outside of Asheville. And my friend Francie, who's not on the call today, but she'll listen to the replay. She's a spirit guide, light being, an incredible artist. And these two gals happen to be friends, and we met at the coffee shop. And Evalena and I just immediately, like, I don't know, the eyes for one
Yeah.
thing. Like we channeled each other in, and it was like, wow, like within 5 minutes, will you be a guest on my show? And this was several months ago because and as most people know, some of you are new listeners on the show, I only interview change makers, thought leaders, and health practitioners that put social and environmental justice at the forefront of their work. And Evalena has, like, you have this, you fit all those brackets. You're a health practitioner and thought leader, change maker, but you also have these guides. So how when you're channeling, say someone is struggling, I mean, where are you in attunement, like this, the 12, the channelers are 12, or I'm sorry, what I'm gonna brain fart, what you call them, the 12, what are they, the
Council
12?
Council of
Council
12.
of 12, the
Yeah.
channelers are 12, councils are 12. um, are they, what's their agenda to bring forward? Like, why do they keep cycling through century after century after
Mhm.
century?
Good
What is
question.
the wisdom that's you're carrying on?
So my sense is they don't actually have agendas. And what they've said is eternity is a very long time. And a lovely thing to do in eternity, if someone wants to open or expand, we want to be there. It's
Mhm.
exciting to be a part of someone's evolution and someone's opening to higher realities. And so people ask, we come, we always come. And it's not like the guides have an agenda for us, but they'll support our agenda. They just like to support evolution. And whether we manifest what we want or any of those things that are our goals isn't nearly so as important as our empowerment.
Mhm.
And so they're really here for our empowerment. I want to speak to something you mentioned earlier, Donna, about guides coming in that might feel like they're tormenting.
Mhm.
I have very high standards for guides I'll work with. So that's part of why I use the invocation to ensure that they're only ascended masters and only serving my highest good. There are astral beings who love to masquerade as guides. I've had many try to come in, and sometimes they'll fool me for a little bit. But what I'll say is, Kali, the goddess Kali. She's creator, preserver, destroyer. So she'll serve us. She's a mother goddess, preserves what needs to be preserved, but she'll come in and I'll say, if this is not someone for my highest good, get them out of here. And she does.
Mm.
So I work with her and Archangel Michael to really kind of guardian the space to keep it clear.
And these
And
are
when
two
I
of the
first start,
channelers.
pardon,
Are those two of the channelers? Those two that you just mentioned?
Archangel Michael's often with us, Saint Germain, Melchizedek, Babaji, the Kriya Yoga Babaji, he is the being that everyone else channels through. So I'm channeling Babaji, channeling the others. Mother Mary, Christ, Kuan Yin, Kali will come when we ask. Divine Mother works with us. And if someone asks a question that requires a special group of beings, that group will be called in.
Mm.
So it's kind of a rotating group with some key figures that are always there.
So this is kind of a big question, but when you're not channeling, like, or for yourself personally, um, can you like these channelers are busy. They're going all over the place. Right? I mean, so you just bring them in with their wisdom. Like, have you studied each of these deities or goddesses or gods? You intuitively know this is part of being an empath that we're talking about here today.
I would say it doesn't have to be part of being an empath.
Mm-hmm.
Empaths make good channels because they already know how to do blended energy with someone,
Mm-hmm.
but only if they keep their own energy field clear and know how to unmerge from people or other people's ailments or pain. If
Mm-hmm.
they're just merging with everyone, they're not clear enough to be a channel. So I have to keep bringing myself back to my core, keep coming home and building a strong sense of my core, my groundedness, my connection to source,
Mm-hmm.
so that I'm only merging where I want to merge.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the channeling, I usually my eyes are closed and the other person, what they don't see is that I'm going like this and I'm clearing all the cords between us, sending their energy home and bringing my energy back. I'm unmerging again.
Mm. It's like a very deep, profound meditation and getting. What's the difference, say, between channeling and trance, like going into a trance?
Some people go into a trance to channel.
Yeah.
I feel like that what they do is they put their consciousness aside and let someone speak through them. That doesn't feel very safe to me. Plus, I don't want to be in a trance somewhere. I want to be listening.
Yeah.
So for me, it's in a way, some might think of it a trance of bringing my small self in and opening.
Yeah.
When I'm really clear, it feels as if my being is speaking and the council's speaking, and there's one voice because you go far enough out, there's only one of us. When
Yeah.
when I'm not in the best shape, I sometimes have said, Babaji, I think you're going to have to channel me today.
Mm. Yeah. Very cool. Right.
And those are some of the best sessions.
Oh, cool. Well, speaking of sessions, I'd love you to, I was just checking the chat and gals, just go ahead and put this week's blog in the chat and remind everybody if they put their email in, we'll send them a book of Living Like the Teacher Matters. And also, we're going to be putting in a few other links. Evalena has a special thing she's going to be offering at the end. We're halfway already through this. The channelers of 12 are kicking my butt saying, Donna, you got more ground to cover. We haven't even gotten through all of our questions. But I was wondering, is there something you could offer, and anybody in who's on right now, if you have any questions or any comments, now would be a good time to put them in. And we will get to those. But would you take us through a little exercise to help us all relax and get into a state of mind where I know you can't do a whole session with us now, but just let us touch the water of how you work your magic, honey.
Okay, good.
Just
So,
WhatsApp video.
Sorry.
so I encourage everyone to breathe and feel your grounding, maybe refresh it. We're all changing so fast now. It's good to release it into the earth and send new roots into the planet every few days. And as you breathe, imagine that you can call in the light of your being, let it spiral down your center and follow it in. The energy of your being loves to the spiraling motion around the chakras. It brings you into your core. And the more you're in your core, the more you're able to be in your own energy and not others. So imagine that as you breathe and ground, you're arriving more and more inside yourself. And then if you wish, you might reach up with your hands into the chakra above your crown, into the light of your being, and bring that light all the way around and outline your arc field, as if you're creating this beautiful bubble all around you, in front, to the sides, behind, encompassing yourself in a bubble of light. The body loves that. We can ask the angels to come and brush out your energy field, clearing out everyone else's energy. And imagine anyone you've been engaged with that you just say, thank you, I send your energy back, and I bring mine home. So you're breathing that which is essentially you into your core. You're releasing everyone else's energy. I sometimes like to use my hands, each chakra, just sending their energy out, bringing my energy in. The right hand sends everyone else's energy out. The left hand brings yours in. And you can go down through the chakras, clearing and releasing, making your chakra column your own home. And everyone else gets to go to their home. They don't need to be in you. All the way down, especially the heart, where we empaths tend to really open our hearts to people. Sometimes we say, my heart goes out to you. And I would say, no, 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 keep your heart home. Let the love of God, the love of Source go out to people and stay inside your own heart. And solar plexus, releasing any place you've given your power away, or others may have wanted to have your power. Bring yours home. Come all the way in. What you want to be as an empath is someone who resides in your body and in your core. Second chakra, releasing, bringing yourself home, and the first. So you're allowing all your energy to come back to your core. The more you come to your core, the more magnetic it becomes, the more it draws you home. So it wants your presence. That's what energizes and potentiates your core, which is all your chakras, and all the organs and systems in the body feed off the chakras. So your presence in your chakras is a real gift to give to yourself. And breathe and just notice how this feels. Notice how it feels to be fully in yourself. And notice how it feels to have this new grounding. Send it deep into the earth. And as deep as that grounding goes, while being in your core, open like branches of a tree to the light above and the chakras above your crown. So you're in the core, which is like the trunk of the tree with deep roots and high branches. and just notice, oh, there's a lot more of me up here than I knew. And when you have that deep grounding and that presence, then you can open in a way that informs your life and informs your physical body. Ah, I could go on, and I want to be sure we have time for everything.
Oh my God, I've been just can't even tell you how much I appreciated that for me. I don't know if anybody else could feel Evelena's voice, and just like I'm so relaxed right now. And
Uh-huh.
I started meditating, or trying to meditate, when in June of last year. I did it when I was much younger, and now I'm really able to. I've been really have a practice now, so I'm able to get into that space and doing breathing. And actually, TJ or Shane just put in Insight Timer. It's an app I've been using, when Evalena is not available, but and one of the channelers that I've been listening to on there, or meditations, just when you were talking to me, wow, did you just hear that bird?
Yes.
It's so cool. Oh my gosh. So great. Their channelers are coming through. And nature is my guide, so I get the nature spirit, man. Like I get the elemental things, because I believe the closer we get to nature, the closer we get to our true nature. But one of the things that I'm listening to, and I don't know if this resonates with anybody
Yes,
who's listening, Kevin.
in here.
Is it all right if I run real quick to my house?
Kevin,
which
you're
is,
turn off
on Kingsland Lane.
Can you, TJ, mute Kevin?
She did.
Thanks. So, is and this is what I've been doing. I'm 66 this year, and I think for 65 of my years, or whenever you're a kid, I've been trying to fix myself, for probably the last 40 years. Like, how do you become the best version of yourself? How do you become your authentic self? How can you, rise above, or, and this one that I'm listening to, like, she's become one of my 12 channelers. I listen to her every day now. She's a poet and a nature therapist, psychotherapist, amazing channeler herself. And she said, stop focusing on fixing and you will heal.
Exactly.
And it kind of like, I resisted for several meditations going through that, and then it's now I'm just really getting what it means, because I've had a bout of not being well for a while, and I'm getting better every day. That's my mantra, and which is working, even though some days I felt like shit. I still say it, and I am not wearing that cloak of, or that putting a cape around me that says, I'm a light beam, I can do this, I can do that, and no, I took it off. I took taking them all off, and just like what you just did, you just took us through getting into that core of, like, the essence of, we're good enough, we are here, and we are here now. And we have to, if we're able to channel that on our own, that's amazing. But I know I need guides every day. And what you just did for me was my afternoon delight of just like clearing my mind. And no, we didn't have enough time to do it all. But I think that if some of you, you should definitely reach out to Evalena Rose and see how she might help you, because I know she has helped a ton of people get through trauma and get clear on their business endeavors, right? And it's one thing like to be psychic, and it's another thing to channel, and it's another thing to go into reading tarot cards or astrological readings. What I want to do, if everybody's listening to this, find something that resonates with you. I mean, outside the church or the synagogue or the mosque. And I'm not saying those aren't bad things, but those are not the only ways to attain enlightenment or to be good, or those are the places oftentimes where they're asking you to fix yourself. These
Right.
organized religions.
Yeah.
If you don't do this, you're going to go to hell.
Well,
If-
and they're kind of based on binding you to being in the religion, not all of them, but many. And so you're, you're singing these hymns about being a sinner, so you've got to come and confess, or you're begging for God to take care of you. And God's like, don't beg. I'm always, yes. I'm always a yes. Just ask. And so what I think we're learning is how to go directly to the divine.
yes.
I actually worked in a church when I was in college, and I thought I was going to make that my career. And one day I went, there's no God here. This is a business.
Mm-hmm.
And I quit. And I realized that if I was going to believe in the divine, it had to be very personal. And so I challenged God, if you're real, prove it to me, show me.
Yeah.
And I got the proof. So now it's a very daily active connection for me, and such a support for my life.
Mm. Yeah. So when you were first realized that you were, I don't know, were you chosen to channel? How did it make you feel?
Excited. After that time I talked about where they first came in, I felt exuberant. It was like I always knew there had to be something more, because otherwise life was too boring. And it was like, oh yes, there's a whole nother realm to explore, a whole richness to the universe. That's what I love about the mystery, is it's vast. I've been studying for 50 years and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
And the channeling is like a learning on the job that I get to do.
Yeah. So you're constantly achieving emotional sovereignty.
Yeah, more and more.
Yeah. And all of us, I think, would love to attain that too.
Mhm.
Well, listen, we are coming like close to the end of the show. And I just have a couple of very quick announcements, and I want to thank everybody for being here. And the last question that I'd like to leave you with after I do my announcements, because I think this is really important, is, and you can think about this while I do my brief announcements, but, coming over these attachments to trauma. And the reason why I would like to go, there's so much trauma. I mean, just turning on the news, I want everybody here to be in full transparency. I've been on a news detox since April 2023. I have not listened to the news once, except when it blurbs on in the car. And, I just heard, all the stuff, I'm not even going to repeat them, a few things that are going on, but there's trauma happening every day in people's lives. So what I'd like to do is give my few announcements, and anybody who's still on, and if you have anybody wants to come up on the stage or ask any questions, you'll have time too. But trauma is a big deal. And I think if we have trauma, these channelers are going to have a hard time coming through any of us. So I would love you to address that when I come back. But just real quick, first of all, I want to thank everybody who showed up today, remind you to stay connected with us and pop your email in if you want. And then join our Facebook group, because it's really fun. And you're allowed to post your own events and epiphanies that have to do with social and environmental justice and making the world a better place. We love people to engage on our Facebook group, and you're welcome to. But next week we have a really two guests coming on. They work together, and this is on February 22nd, same time. Katie Miller and Kris Farquhar. We're going to have an enlightened discussion on a symbol of peace and freedom to guide us. And we're going to be looking at, and most people don't know this, but on the top of the Capitol building, there's a goddess, a woman on the top that most people don't know. This, it's in the flame of the Statue of Liberty, and on the Capitol Dome, excuse me. And they have been really, especially women, working for sovereignty in their own right, emotional sovereignty, but just freedom, like liberation. And it's going to be a very spiritual, very enlightening, but also kind of a hands-on discussion. So I invite you all to come, and if you join our email list, you'll get on that. And I just also wanted to announce that while we were talking, when we started, the weather here was stellar sunshine. And when Evalena, when you brought us through that meditation, like I'm going to move my light, but the clouds came in and it started like this gorgeous, misty, pouring rain. And I just want to remind everybody the power that we all have when we take a minute, even for me to connect those dots. Things don't happen to us, they happen for us. And changing our perspective on how we approach each and every day and every moment, whether you're suffering from terminal illness or a loss of a loved one, or a loss of a job or career or a limb or whatever. These are, if we can look at them as gifts. And I know, Christina, I think you're still on here. She wrote an incredible book about cancer being her greatest gift. Christina, pop your link into your website. And again, Christina, I hope you and Evalena get together, because I think you will just together just are rocket stars on my show. And I'm so grateful. So getting back to this trauma, we have just a few minutes. I would love for you to address how we can deal with these traumas, and how, like with me, even just seeing the changing of the weather, the signs to help us. There's my dog. Sadie, what do you think? You agree? To clear the pathways.
So there's 1,000 answers I have to that. Let me see what I can do. I think at the base of it is to really value yourself and know that even though these things have happened to you and they may have covered over the original issue, that the original issue is there, that your divinity is under that. And I think of it more like uncovering what's your authentic self. It's not like it's gone away, you just had to hide it to protect it. I'm really impressed with the power of dissociation, because I think that's how we protect our essence nature. So what dissociates is what can eventually grow up and become spiritual and does all the work, because the personality, there's just an innate thing of I've got to protect what's most precious about me. So what it dissociates is what we think of ourselves as, the adults. So we got away and didn't have to go through as much trauma. But what can't get away are the inner kids and some of those other parts of us that get caught in time. They get caught in the shock of the trauma. Mm-hmm. So the guides I work with, the council has, over time, developed a form of soul retrieval that's really a quick way to work through trauma. There's an article about it on my website. The way we work it is, usually people will have like a scene from their childhood that just keeps coming back. That's a sign that a part of the psyche is caught in time. And you call in Divine Mother. The adult gets really grounded, really centered. And then when you're ready, and using that light spiraling down your center, so you come sit in your heart chakra, then you ask Divine Mother to go with you. You step into the scene, the adult and Divine Mother. You go to the child, you love them up, you let them know, you're precious to me. I've come to take care of you. I'm the adult you've grown up into. And I'd love for you to come live in my heart, where you can live with me in my time, your future, where I can take care of you every day. And then we ask Divine Mother to bring, if the child's willing, they're almost always willing. If not, you do a little therapy with them and they're willing. Or at least if they're real skeptical, sometimes we'll say, would you be willing to try it? And if you don't like it, we'll bring you back. So then the child says yes. We ask Divine Mother to bring the adult and the child through space and time, all the way through space and time, right into the heart chakra, right into now, and we name the date, and ask the angels to make the perfect child's room in the heart for that one, kind of bed they want and playthings, and then a big rocking seat for Divine Mother. And we ask the adult to bring the child to Divine Mother's lap and get in it with them. We say she's got a very big lap, which is true. And so you have Divine Mother hold you. You breathe in her love. You breathe all the pain and shock, all the feelings into her heart. She transmutes it. You breathe in her love. You breathe out the pain. You breathe in the love. And it starts transmuting it. So now the soul essence that was caught is in current time, and the adult can take care of them, and the trauma's in the past. That's the fastest healing of trauma I've experienced. You just keep rescuing parts of yourself and bringing them into now.
Into a safe place.
And that nurturing with Divine Mother, to come into that kind of relationship with a mother who always loves. Sometimes we'll say, let it soak into your bones, because we've almost all waited for that kind of total accepting love. So over time, it really shifts that part that can now age progress, because the clock is ticking again.
Yeah.
And we also help the child, who often we think, oh, my kid is taking me there or there. They're not sabotaging you. They're doing their old coping mechanisms. So when you have them in current time, you can say, guess what? You've got an adult on duty now. You can let your adult take care of you. She's got a lot of good training. She's got Divine Mother to help her, and you get to be a child.
Mm.
And it really shifts things.
A child without trauma.
Yeah. Sometimes we have to say, you know what children do? And they'll go, no. We'll say they play, they nap, and they snack. And they play and they eat and they sleep. That's about it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
So it clears a lot of those triggers and things where trauma is affecting current time.
Mm. Just bringing people to a safe place and knowing
Yes.
that that safe place is always available to you, no matter where you are in your life. That child is always within, and it always could use a hug. And I just want to thank you so much, Evalena Rose, for taking the time out of your evening to be here to share your love, your light, your brilliance, your wisdom, and to bring the 12 channelers, the channelers of 12, some of them into this conversation with us. And you guys look in the chat, copy the chat if you want. There is a generous gift in there from Evalena to get a discount off one of her courses, and I strongly suggest you check it out. And make sure you check out her videos, her video on the website as well. And we'll see you, everybody, again. I don't see any pressing questions. I feel like you answered a lot and gave us so much juicy information. And if there's any last thing you want to say it now, Evalena, or anybody can raise your hand. But I'm going to go get myself a massage from a spiritual healer right now. And I can't wait. She channels amazing amazing things through me. And I
Beautiful.
love that you said you did the body work, you did the massage, because I feel like that really opens up a lot of wounds right there, and
It
emotional
does.
release. So
I think healing trauma takes a team. You
yeah.
know, body work, maybe acupuncture, different kinds of healing modalities, dance, movement. I just think you bring it all to it.
Yeah.
And that's how you get yourself back. So I encourage everyone, really be kind to yourself and bring yourself all the way home. Blessed be.
And big love and aloha, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another dose of positivity.
Mm.